Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Olena Berezovska, and I have again a very special guest, Nicoletta Savova. And originally, she's from Bulgaria. We just find out before we had this chat, before this recording. And we have Slavic roots because I'm Ukrainian. So, hi, Nicoletta.
Hi, Olena.
Nice to see you. And I'm going to introduce Nicoletta because she's a very special guest because she created her own school of positive thinking, right?
Yeah,
And Nicoletta practicing and lives in France, in Paris. And I love Paris. So she's a coach, she's a teacher, she's also a writer because she wrote 4 books, and I have actually written down what kind of books. So it was The Magic is in You, and the name of the book says for itself, and a book of a poem like no other. Then called Lumiere, right? Called Lumiere. And
the Lumiere means cipher of light.
Yes, and it's like one volume is Quest and another volume is Awakening. Then book 28 Days to Let Go, where you given a program for 4 weeks how to transform yourself in a better you. And another one, it's My Happiness Tips. It's where Nicoletta shares very good information, and I was checking all those tips. It's part of positive psychology. And this is not everything you need to know about Nicoletta because there's more. And Nicoletta has her webpage of the school, and even not just school, but blog and many other pages. So I'm going to present this information in a information about this video so you can check. And this website is in French and English because, as I said, Nicoletta lives in France. And it's amazing to have a speaker from another part of the world, from Europe, from France. And I'm welcoming you here. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be with you today. And I think it's a real privilege for me to share all these good happiness vibes.
It's true. And many other people can get these vibes because we were talking before, and we were funny. By the way, we are gonna be funny, and we're gonna spread a good vibration, very nice vibration. So just catch it. What is interesting, I read the bio of Nicoletta, and then I realized she was a lawyer for almost 7 years, or 8 years, right?
That's it.
And then suddenly she changed her profession and became very successful. She became a founder and successful teacher in this positive thinking, founded her own school. And I was thinking about lawyers, and I was thinking how many famous people I know that there were lawyers before and then became like successful in other field of profession, right? And I don't know if you know, at least I counted like 40 names, but probably more. But I'm gonna name some names, and you'll be surprised. Maybe you know this, but Andrea Bocelli, a famous singer, he was actually educated in law. Right? Then another famous, Julio Iglesias. Julio Iglesias has law degree.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I didn't know about Julio either, but I tried to find out more. And a lot of actors, by the way. So Gerard Butler, it's American one, and Jerry Springer. And also, I remember Geraldo Rivera. It's also a very famous actor, and he had degree in law, and a couple actresses. But I don't want to waste time for naming all these people. But what is really surprising that law or acting, like a movie or show, it's a little bit far apart, especially when you know the people who work with lawyers. They
Very serious.
very serious. Yeah, as doctors, as doctors as well. You know, doctors are very serious sometimes.
Yeah, I
And
think
that's
so too.
yeah, and that's why I see this real transformation into a person who became a entrepreneur and a teacher and create own school. So tell me more about this, like transitions of yours. Why it's happened? Was it like some tragic events or some positive events, or just like you start seeing life differently, or maybe you had a mentor?
I think it's some kind of inner path, really, some kind of inner search for meaning in life. I was very happy when I was lawyer, but once I realized that wasn't my finest way to change the world, I thought I have something else to do.
Mm-hmm.
And besides of it, I was pregnant with my last child, and I I thought my doctor told me, you're working too much. You have to manage yourself. You have to care about, and otherwise you can have just right now your baby. I was pregnant of 6 months, so it was a big kind of reflection. What is important in my life? What I do want to do. So I thought about this thought of Gandhi. You have to be the change you want to see in the world. So I said to myself, I was a business lawyer. Is that the best way you contribute to our world? Or do you want to do something else? And if you want to pursue that, is it possible for you to regret one day for some things you didn't do, like writing books, or a greater contribution to the world? So I worked with a coach by this time, in order to find what was really important to me, what was really meaningful, some kind of great contribution that I wanted to do. And so positive thinking was something that has always been in myself, because you told I'm Bulgarian from my origins. I went to France when I was 18. So it was a communist country when I was very young. And what it learned to me is that people don't die from tragedies like dictature. They die from sadness, from some kind of lack of sense, lack of hope, lack of joy. And that was what was the principal lesson I learned from these years. That is what not so important that we had to make a queue for hours for having bread. But the worst was people with lack of confidence, lack of hope, lack of happiness.
I was born in Soviet Union and under Soviet and grew up and got education. And I understand what you're saying, and that's why I moved to Canada, because my career was flourishing. I was a chief of department and the youngest chief actually in the entire Ukraine. I was obstetrician gynecologist, and my career was flourishing. I was a lecturer, but as you said, like I mentally, I felt like I cannot live in society when everything was restricted. And maybe one day I will write about this, because people do not understand what we went through, and why we changed our like life completely. And I was thinking about future of my children, not even about my future, because also I had two little kids. That was what is interesting. You mentioned about pregnancy, how the pregnancy transformed your perception of life. And it happens to me too, because when I was pregnant and I have two kids, I became different. I became very emotional. I like was more, I would say, spiritual. And then I realized that I'm a mother. I was so proud that I'm a mother. I'm still proud. I'm a mother and grandmother. And it's true. And I know a couple women, they were quite famous. They were very popular. They're very wealthy. And how they changed also everything just because they wanted to be better mothers. And they start kind of thinking about expanding of families. And some of them changed even profession. So being from TV show host, very popular, then suddenly became a target audience. I was reading bio of very famous psychologists, and many of them had no education in psychology, but became famous psychologists, even work in universities and teaching psychology, which says that it's important to be who you are and who you want to be. So we back to your story. And I know when you move to another country, it's not easy, but still, it shows you very successful because you created your school. So how you came to the point that you need to create a school, not just like, be a coach or be a person who helped some people in positive psychology, but again, you created entire school where people can have different courses and be certified and help other people. So how you became successful in this way?
I think it was related to letting go. When I was lawyer, it's some kind of very serious profession, isn't it?
Yeah.
You like doctor, you said, you have long studies, and then you work in some kind of established way. So when I thought about myself, about lack of meaning in this more, I said, okay, what can I become? And so I made very many visualizations at this time and meditations and so on. And one day I said, okay, when it will be the right moment, I will know, absolutely know what I have to do now. And so I really let it go in order to for it to become some kind of obvious thing. And one day I awakened in the morning. I was still lawyer at that time because I had associates, and it was a little bit, it was necessary for a little bit time. So when I awakened in that morning, it was some kind of evidence, school of positive thinking. And I asked myself, why is school? It's some kind of engaging thing to creating a school. And what I knew at that moment, it was because of my personal path, because of that history of communist country, because of some kind of resilience that we have in ourselves at this time. Something in myself said, you're ready to do that, to teach and to have the responsibility of training people to be happier and to understand what is really meaningful in life. And 10 years before now, in France, it was not so popular, positive thinking or positive psychology. Today, it's a little bit more, but less than United States, for example. And so many people around me told me, but you're crazy. What the hell is that? It's just some kind of funny thing you want to do? Just some kind of entertainment? What is it? And I knew it was really meaningful for me to teach something about what is really important in life. And I think we are living in a period of great changes in humanity, in society, in our countries, in ecology. Very many things are changing. And I think we have to find our inner strengths. And it's some kind of connection with what is bigger than us, some kind of spiritual connection too. Because we are destroying our planet, we're destroying our humanity from such a long time. And now we have to connect ourselves to our heart.
Yeah.
and
It's
something
actually, sorry, it's
very
actually the
domestic.
lines that goes through all positive psychologists that we have to learn how to be yourself without putting ahead aggressiveness, hate, because by nature it's not who we are. And when baby is born, right, baby never shows any aggression. And by the way, from clinical research, and not just clinical, but some others, we know that the baby is born with a so-called natural smile. So when the baby is smiling, it's natural. Sometimes adults, they don't understand why the baby is smiling. But what's happening? And because the baby smiles naturally to the world, not just to people, right? Like everything he's doing, adults start teaching the child not to smile to everyone, because this is like not your father, not your mother, this is the strangers. Why are you smiling to them? So this natural smile is changing into social smile. And people who are involved in this field of psychology and field of medicine, let's say, they know about this, that we teach our children to smile is not naturally, but
To
this
have a social face.
to the social face, to this person we smile, to this person we don't smile. And how often do we see the picture when somebody's taking pictures, right, and smile, and then you have to show that you're happy, which is not bad in some way. But positive psychology, some people think, it's kind of not normal, it's not a normal science, it's some kind of wrong.
That's it.
Yeah, it's like, it's not normal people, because, and again, if they read something, you have to be positive, read positive. And it's also not true that you all the time you have to be positive. You feel sadness, you cannot force yourself to be positive.
Of course.
More people that start using positive psychology in their own life, which is good. It means more people realize that we have to change something first in our life, then we can help to change the life of other people. And that's, you came to decision to create the school. I would say you almost like a pioneer in France who created the school. And maybe right now you have more followers or more people who involve in positive psychologists, but you started a while ago. I think it was 2010. And right, so I'm not mistaken. I usually have good memory. And I would like you to tell more about your books, and it gives opportunity to spread your ideas and your thoughts even more, right? But I found that the name of the book and these poems and novels you use in this book, it's a little bit different from traditional way of presenting positive psychology knowledge. And so tell me how you came to the point that it has to be more beautiful.
Well, writing is something that was inside of me for all my life. And I think it's some kind of expressive art of everything we have inside of us. And the novel Cipher of Light was something I was really keeping in myself from a long time. And it's some kind of story about inner path of the hero that has some kind of sometimes huge challenges, and sometimes many signs of life to say, you see that you have to change now. And we don't want to listen to that voice, because it's too complicated for us to radical change, because it's a little bit scaring.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we don't hear to that voice of our inner self, of our part of wisdom, we have another message and another one, and sometimes it can be violent. And when it becomes violent, sometimes we decide to listen to it really, and to tell to ourselves, perhaps I'm called by something else. And it's not dangerous and not scaring to follow your inner path if it's some kind of calling. And that's the story about Cipher of Light. It's available in English, the first book. If you want, I can send it to you.
Oh, I would like to read it. Yes. And I saw these books on your website, of your school, which is incredible. And I like the title, not the title, but I mean, there's a title page actually. It's really artistic. In when I was looking, and I was thinking, that's interesting that every person becomes an artist of one life. So it's creativity. So we have to be creative. Our podcast is coming to the end slowly, and I usually say, what kind of message would like to give to our viewers and our listeners?
The principal message I would like to give is the message of Cipher of Light is that life is a personal experience and adventure, and we are the author of that and the creator. And in Cipher of Light, I give 7 keys in order to be the real author and the real creator. It's developing inner strength, universal love, because we are alive, and that the greatest gift that we have received, and it's really something lightning and great, and we have to be really grateful for that, because life is a miracle and we often forget about it. And in order to live that love, universal love, we have to forgive about everything that could be some kind of offense for us, because in order to really experiment love, we have to have a peaceful heart. And we live in a world with many wars that never stop. And it begins with our own hearts. And if we don't have inner peace, we cannot be the creator of the peace of the world. And if we don't forgive about everything, if we don't develop resilience in order to accept what it is and to change what has to be changed and what we have the power to change, we cannot gain this inner peace. And I think what is going to save really our world is love and kindness. Because we are all together in our great home that's called Earth. And we really have to understand that if we don't stop to destroy ourselves, we just continue the same war against ourselves. So I think it's all coming from our heart, with love, with forgiveness, and with kindness. And then we're going to be able to change the world.
Wow, this is a beautiful message. This is a very beautiful message. Nicoletta, thank you very much for coming to this podcast, and it's a pleasure to have you here. And I'm sure we will meet again, and we can discuss some other topics regarding positive psychology. And I'm really happy that you were able to join this podcast. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Olena. I'm really, really honored to be with you today. I appreciate your work. Thank you very much. And I'll send you the Cipher of Light in English.
Definitely.
So if it interests you, we can discuss another time about all these keys to live all of us in a better world.
Yeah, it would be interesting. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I started my day with a breakfast with my business lawyer. So,
okay.
So I have a podcast with a lawyer, and my lawyer brought me this black suitcase.
Okay, very serious.
Very serious suitcase, like lawyer's case. So I was actually asking on my social pages on Instagram, and I said, I put a picture and I said, "What do you think it is?" I got a lot of answers that I stole it from Putin, probably from Russia, because they always portrayed him with a black suit, a
It's
suitcase.
some kind of secret agent suitcase.
Secret agent, yeah. But actually, this is my legal documents regarding my academy, because my business lawyer is retiring, and she brought me this and said you have to give it to your new business lawyer, and where he keeps all these documents, which is interesting. Then I was saying, okay, and I have a podcast with your lawyer, and what is the next step?
Le message, ce serait que si nous voulons voir la paix dans le monde, nous avons besoin de faire la paix dans notre cœur. Et la paix dans notre cœur passe par l'amour et la gentillesse et l'amour de la vie.
Wow. It's beautiful French and English and any others.
Russian too, because we studied
Russian.
in school.
I remember Russian was everywhere. It was like, in every social country. Yeah.
You studied it also, I think. I wanted to show you the first Code Lumière. It was this one. That was the first edition. And then this is the second one.
Oh, wow.
You saw on my website.
Yes, Awakening.
And that's what I'll send to you in English, because it was translated.
Perfect.
And actually, I'm looking for an editor in United States. So I'm writing to some editions or literary agents in United States or Canada. So if you know somebody that can be interested in, you can share the book. And
okay,
we never know.
We never know.
That's so great. I'm really happy too. And thank you very much for spreading that light and permit to us to know our work, and to see that there are so many people in this world that are working for something really good to happen.
Oh, by the way, I need to say another very important. Put it. So, dear viewers, if you like this podcast with this wonderful woman, please like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow other podcasts.
Thank you.
Okay, because I always forget.
If you come here, you're welcome, and there are many very special places to visit here.
Okay, great. So thank you very much.
Castles, some very beautiful things.
Okay, so all the best, and bye-bye.
Thank you, Olena.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.